Hi everybody, welcome to my show Singing with Lauren. Today we are going to be breaching the question of what is mixed voice and when to use it. So a lot of people have big mass confusion over mixed voice. It is totally not as scary as it seems, and we're going to dive in. At the end of this video, you will understand what mixed voice is, what it feels like, and when you should choose to use it in your singing. I did create a new freebie for you guys called How to Practice. This is so important. It's a very valuable PDF. You're gonna wanna get your hands on it. So subscribe, pause this video, click the link below, download that bad boy, and let's get to talking about mixed voice. So to talk about mixed voice, first we have to touch on chest voice. Now, if you're brand new to my channel, I definitely want you to go check out my 3-part video series on what was chest voice and how to use it, what is chest voice and how to use it. I'll link those up here right now. But just as a quick reminder, chest voice is the register that both men and women have that we are talking in all the time. So right now, I'm talking in my chest voice, right? So it's where we talk, where we speak, where we sing most of the time if we're singing popular music, maybe not so much if we're singing opera or classical music, but your chest voice, let's face it, you use it all the time. Every day, when you're yelling, when you're talking on the phone, when you are singing around the house, you're probably using your chest voice just because that's how often we all use our chest voices. So the mixed voice comes into play when we start to feel like our voice is getting a little bit higher, but we're not yet in head voice, and we're not yet in a belt. So physically speaking, what's going on when we're in chest voice is that one muscle group is totally controlling the closure of the vocal folds. Now, as we get higher into our mixed voice, the muscle set that also works in the head voice comes in, and basically both muscle groups start working together to create the closure of the vocal folds. Now, this is a more scientific process. There's lots of different muscle groups. There's lots of different names. Well, I shouldn't say there's lots of different muscle groups, but there's lots of names of the muscles. So right now we are talking about 2 muscle groups. I just want you to think about them as the head voice muscle group and the chest voice muscle group. So when we get into a mix, these muscle groups are basically tangoing with each other and working together to help us phonate. Now, this gets weird and confusing when people hear about it for the first time because they're like, what do you mean? I'm supposed to mix my voice? No, it's that you're mixing your registers. So, everyone do this with me. Put your hand on your chest and go, ah, ah, hi, hi, how are you? So whether you are a man or a woman, that is your chest voice. It's really low, right? Sometimes we can feel some secondary vibrations in our chest. It's not because the sound is down there, but it's just because that sound is lower and it is coming from a little bit of a lower place. When we get into our head voice, we don't necessarily feel that down here. Everyone feels it in a different spot, but I like to describe it as more of a hooty, higher, easier, woo! Like that is definitely my head voice, right? So the mixed voice is a really important thing to work on because if you're not going into a mix and you're flipping into your head too soon, you end up getting a really hollow sound in those couple notes before you hit the part of your voice that you should be in head voice. Now, belting, if you start a belt too early, it can make it things a lot harder for you. than if you wait until you would get to the point where you really necessarily need the belt. Does that make sense? The belt is kind of a whole different topic, but basically what I'm saying is that you can utilize your mix instead of popping into a belt too soon. But that's all I'm gonna say about the belt for now. Okay, so everyone, hopefully you found your chest voice with me. Hi, how are you? And you found your head voice with me. Woo, woo, right? So now let's try to work up into the mix. So we're gonna start on middle C. So it's gonna be a little bit lower at first. We're gonna be in our chest voice for a while longer than when we go into mix, but let's just ease into it. So we're just gonna start with a really easy ooh. So that is straight up chest, right? Now, obviously, we all have the ability to manipulate our chest voice to make it sound more chesty or more belty, but what I'm doing right now is just a pure, easy chest voice. There's nothing special about it. It's just there. So I just sang the highest note was an A flat. So for me, I truly feel that bump up into my mix when I hit an A. Now for everybody that's gonna be different. And so I don't want you to get so obsessed with, am I doing it? Is this the time? It's really more of getting acclimated to the true feeling of the mix and just playing around with it. And when you start understanding what it feels like, then it becomes more clear when you should utilize it and when you don't need it. So here we go. I'm gonna keep going and then I'm gonna pause again. So let's go. Ooh, still chest. Now listen for this highest note. Ooh, that's a mix. Now all of a sudden, I have a little bit of that lightness, a little bit of that ease of the head voice. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking the head voice isn't easy, but when you work on it, when you master your head voice, you'll start thinking of your head voice as easy. So that's what I think about it as easy, actually, to a certain point, and then it gets a little harder. But so that A was a very pure mix, and I bet one of the things that you're thinking is, Lauren, it really didn't sound that different, and that's another reason, a point of this video, is that when we do things right in our voice, fireworks don't start going off, right? To tell us we're in our mix. It happens, we sing it, we do it, we keep moving, right? So it's not something that's like, that your brain is gonna think like, oh, that was the mix, like that was it, you know? It's that you'll start feeling that sensation of a little bit ease, a little bit of mixing, and here's what it's not gonna sound like, okay? It's not gonna sound like this. And guess what that is? That is the sound of moving from chest straight into head without a mix. And like I said, when you do it, foundation, poof, out the window, right? We lose that feeling and sound like we're standing on something. It just kind of goes. So we don't want that, right? So let's try the mix with me. I'm gonna do E, F sharp, G sharp. If you're following along on a piano, if you're just singing, just sing this with me. We're gonna go back down and then we're gonna go up again. Ooh, ooh, Now that was pretty much all mix. Keep going. Now the highest note on that one was a C, and on that one I did switch into my head voice. So guys, I hope this covers a couple of the questions, the misconceptions that you have on your mix. If you take anything away from this video, I want you to remember that mix is not belting, right? Mix is singing, and it's using a mix of your chest voice and your head voice. And if I've learned anything in my teaching, it's that when students obsess about when they should use their mix, everything goes haywire, right? So the real question I want to ask you to ask yourself is, am I switching to my head voice too soon? And if you answer yes to that, it means that you're not utilizing your mix. So in the next video, we're going to do exercises on how to improve your mixed voice. That's all for today. Don't forget to download that free PDF on how to practice. You guys all want to practice and you have no idea what to do when you practice. So that's why I made this guide for you. Don't miss out on it. I will see you guys next week, and happy singing. Please subscribe, comment your video requests below, and I'll see you later.